Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining our TagoIO webinar today. Today, the topic will be creating and managing multiple sub-accounts using profiles. I get a lot of questions around this, so we thought it was pertinent to have a webinar to discuss these things and give you guys some pointers and some helpful tips. Let me introduce myself. My name is David Hall. I'm a customer success manager here at TagoIO. And we also have Tiago Lima. He is also a customer success manager that will be presenting today. So for the agenda, we're going to go over user and access management, use cases, account management, and we'll have a very cool live practice for you and a Q&A at the end. If you have any questions, by the way, during the webinar, just post them in the Q&A and we'll address those right after our meeting. We hope to see all kinds of questions. With that, I would like to hand it over to my colleague, Tiago Lima.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Some of you already know me. If not, nice to meet you and very happy to have you here today. So let's discuss in regards to user and access management. So we all know that according to business rules, it's very critical for us to understand what type of rules do we need to provide to our end users. And this we can distribute and lots of different levels, right? So we could see an example of a condominium, for instance, in which you could have different buildings, different apartments, different sensors. So we do need to provide the correct access to the specific users that will be managing that particular section of the application. And how is that possible with Toggle? So how can we achieve that? And we have a couple of steps that we could follow. Some of them are ready to go, and I'm going to share them with you at the end at the live practice. But briefly, just so I could give a little taste of what's coming. The idea is that you can invite users to your application. So you have your admin on TagoIO, your developer page, in which you create your dashboards, you add your sensors, you create your access rules, you set visibility conditions on your run sidebar. And then you can choose to invite users to access that particular application of yours inside your portal, right? And deploy several applications. So inside your TagoIO account, you have many different profiles. You could have a profile for one application, you can have a profile for another one, you can have a profile for a sandbox, and you can control these profiles edit resources, distribute them properly. So with that being said, I would like to call David back to the scene so we can discuss a little bit about the use cases and how we apply that to current uses.
Thank you, Tiago. So for our use cases here, I'm only highlighting a few, but there's many use cases that our customers are using Tago for. I would recommend going to our site and looking at our use case list and getting familiar. And a few of them I have listed here. Residential water and energy metering, supply chain, logistics, and RTLS, tracking, and smart agriculture. What I would like to do is actually show you a little bit. Let me share my screen. Okay, so here what you're looking at is this is what we call RTLS, real-time location sensors. And here what you're seeing is the end user application. So Tago Run. If you're just getting familiar with Tago itself, the platform, Tago Run, when we refer to Tago Run, what we're referring to is the end user application. There's lots of different things you can do there with that. So here what I have is, again, I'm the end user and it's all permission controlled. So in this particular case, I've given the end user some power to create some distribution centers and things like that. So here what I'll do is I just have a quick link. So here's all my organizations. And within the organizations, and here I can create one very easy. You could either drag the pin or put in the address and just hit create and you're good to go. You can edit and delete. But let's take a look at one of these today. So here we're looking at a distribution center. So I have an organization, distribution center, and under that organization, I have two warehouses. So it's really cool. I can see everything right from this portal, from the Tago Run portal. And here, kind of the same idea of creating an organization. I can create a site, a new site. Say I have a new warehouse coming on board. I can create an asset. So this is basically my asset list by sensors. And then I have an equipment list. What are those sensors tied to? And again, all these have pretty much the same permissions where I've allowed them to edit, delete, and create. You can also search and you can export as well to CSV and so on. So it's a really cool, really quick overview of what you want to do. Now let's look at one of these. And again, this is all widget based. So you can make this look any way that you like. This just happens to be the way we made it look here for this today. So I can upload an indoor map. In this particular case, I have a geofence, and this is where it is located. And then I have my equipment list down below. And what's really neat about this is in a lot of warehouses, especially in the distribution centers, for their use cases, they don't have a strong Wi-Fi signal. So how they combat that is they'll have beacons within that organization. So within this room, they'll have beacons. And there we're tracking where our sensors are moving that are attached to our equipment. And with the geofence, and again here is I can say where my beacons are, and I can associate them with my Bridgeport warehouse. And so you may have a pallet that you don't want to leave a certain area. This is what we call a geofence. And within it, you could set your geofence to be this whole room, a closet, whatever you want it to be. And basically the beacons are keeping track of where your equipment is moving about the distribution center. And if it leaves that area, you will get an alert. And the alerts I will show you here in just 1 second. And again, you have quick navigation, makes it very convenient. No matter where you're at, you can just always move around and you can look at certain assets and so on and so forth. And as I said, really easy. You can edit the widget right here as far as the geofence. So move it around. Maybe you want to move your geofence. You have some reason to do that. You can just do it right from here. You do not need to go to the developer portal on TagoIO that Tiago was referring to, and he'll show you some of this here coming up. But you can do everything from here, from your mobile device or from your computer. And here again, I have my sites as I had showed you a minute ago. And the user list is pretty interesting here. So say I have a new administrator or somebody that just needs to view and not have full permissions. Again, I don't need to go to the developer account. I can just create it right from here. Give it a name, email, put their name, their email, telephone number. What are they? Are they an end user or an administrator? In this case, I'm logged in. Yes, I'm an end user, but I'm an administrative end user. And then you can just select the site that you've created. Very quick and easy. And then I was speaking about alerts a little earlier ago. This is where you would configure your alerts. And your alerts, again, on the developer side, on the developer account, you can create on what type of alerts you want, meaning specific, like what do you want to see here? Equipment, time, so on and so forth. And from here is where I would select my alerts. Say I would attach it to an equipment. What type of alert do I want? And what type do I want to send? SMS, email, push notifications? You could do one of those, or you could do all three of those. So it's very cool, quick and easy to set up however your environment is or your organizations. And remember when we talked about use cases for supply chain, this is kind of referring to supply chain in RTLS fashion, but same thing with agriculture, residential watering, and energy metering. I mean, if you think of it, you can do it on Tago. I can promise you that. I've seen all kinds of customers do all kinds of really, really neat and inspiring things. And you could do it too yourself very easily. And with this, you could also generate a report. And you could put your email list. You could use an alias. Maybe you have a group within your organization that needs this information. And again, you can configure your reports any way you want. What type of information do you want it to show and things like that. You can't do it on this portal just because I don't have that enabled, but you can do that on the developer portal. So how do you want to send it? As a PDF, so on and so forth. And then I would just simply click send now, and then all my recipients can get the report. I should say too, if you don't want to manually come in here and press send now, then you could have this on a scheduler. Again, you would build that on the developer side and it would be recognized on the end user side that we are looking at here today. And you can have this go out once a week, once an hour, whatever you want your schedule to be. So you don't have to manually come in here and do this. It's just the way I have this one set up at the moment. So keep in mind, Tago is very versatile for our different use cases and for our end users' accessibility on what they're able to do, what you want them to do as their administrator. Because overall, you own the profile that this Tago run, this end user application sits on. So you own it, you control it, you can manipulate it any way you want. It's very easy to do, as I said. And for that, I'll go over this a little bit here in the next couple of minutes. But I talk to a lot of people and they're kind of intimidated every once in a while about Tago. But once I point them to our self-help videos and things like that, they get it right away. So I'm not very technical, but I can build a dashboard in an hour or two that looks really cool. So with that, let's throw it back over to Tiago to talk about access management.
Sounds good. Thank you, David. That in fact is a great perk to have on an IoT application, especially because we see so many different use cases with different rules, and it makes sense that we do need to apply our business rules to our application. And like you said, TagoIO is very versatile, and we can work with that with ease, and we have an entire documentation backing us up. So when that same line of thought, now looking towards the account management scenario, we need to look at the possibility. So how can I manage different accounts, different profiles inside my account, right? So what David was showing was actually one profile being deployed, one single application. But you could have many applications, you could have many portals, right? If you have an application that is generic enough to have many customers, that's great. You could have a condominium application and serve many condominiums. Nothing keeps you from doing that and adding supervisors and adding guests or end users or apartment tenants, for instance. So that brings a lot of value to the application, and being able to manage these profiles. So I do have this customer here, he's rather big, so I'm going to allocate 2 million data points for him. But for this one right here, he's using a low intake device, so his uplink frequency is very low. um, and I'm able to set like 500,000 from him a month. That'll be enough, and I'm able to estimate that and keep tracking of how much I'm expending per application or per customer in this case, right? And you could white label each of those profiles. So for each profile you could have a logo, a branding. You could create an for example, instance for a profile inside your account and say, here we go. You can add your custom domain. You can add your logo. Doesn't have to be on ours, and that offers possibility for a bigger market where you have different companies using their own white label, having their own system, right? And we do work with huge companies worldwide that they do use Tago, and sometimes people don't even know, right? Because their application is white label. They have an app on the App Store, on Google Play, but they are there. So to each of these applications, we can add certain touches, right? Each application can have a design, it can have a look, different graphs, custom analytics that can be displayed. So I'm gonna call David back to the scene and ask him to show a little bit more about these templates and what we can do with them.
Sure. Thank you, Tiago. Okay, so something really cool that we've done here at Tago to really help inspire our customers. If you have a free account, paid account, they're all available to you, and that is our templates. And I'd like to show you real quick how easy it is to use these templates, where you go to get them, and also where to look for some self-help. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, so here I am just on the main Tago site. Again, there's lots of resources here. One thing before I get into the templates is if you were to go to our webinar events and demos, I point a lot of customers to this area. It's extremely valuable. You can a lot of how-tos, how to start, just get started, right? Or maybe you're already getting started and you want to learn a little bit more about analysis or Tago Run. Everything is right here for you. And they're fairly short videos and demos, but the how-to section is really where I point to a lot of people. And just to give you a couple examples here, distributing dashboards with TagoIO, how to add devices and things like that. So one thing that we strive to do here at Tago is really give you self-help that you can go in here and work at your own pace and really absorb the true power of Tago, because it is extremely powerful, but in turn, it's extremely easy to use for us non-developers like myself. So here, this is a great resource. We have all kinds of different resources here, but you can request a demo from here. If you do request a demo, Tiago and I would be glad to give you a personal one-on-one experience on whatever topic you want that demo to be. Most of them are just an overview of how Tago works. And people that take advantage of the demos and our onboarding sessions, if you're already a customer, I highly recommend you take care of onboarding sessions. Historically, for me personally, I have found it really gives people a jump start and inspires them to really get their project going and done in the way that they want. But let's get to the templates. I go to the developers page. Again, all kinds of cool stuff. This launch guide is extremely helpful, a bunch of quick links. But let's just go to the dashboard templates. I'll show you what I'm talking here. Now, when you think of the template, it's not a static template. Like you're not downloading an image. You're downloading a template, a dashboard you can interact with. You would just create like a custom HTTPS device from our device list on your developer account. It's kind of like a fake device. So really what these are really to inspire you. Hey, I don't have a device, but I want to see how Tago works. And I'm interested in agriculture or transportation, satellite. All you would do is come down here and download them. And one thing I suggest, by the way, is watch the video. It's very short and see how it works before you do this, just to give you some expectations. Like there's a prerequisite where you need to have a device. That's why I mentioned the custom HTTPS device, the fake device to interact with your dashboard. But all you would do is go down here and say get template. And this template, when you do that, this template is going to be available under your profile. So let's say I was interested in 4 different templates. I could download all 4 and I could interact with those templates. So they are live. It's simulated data that's coming, but yes, you can actually see it work. And that's what's the cool thing is. You can actually edit it because at that point you own the template. Once you download this to your main profile, you own the template. And as I said, you could have many different templates. You could download all these, one of these. They're extremely popular to really inspire our customers and our users to see what Tago is capable of. So again, lots of great resources on the site. This one here is one of my favorites. Customers love it. When I speak to the customers about their interaction, how hard was it to do the templates? They all tell me it was simple. It was like 3 clicks and I'm done. So very easy to do, very user friendly. And with that, I think one of the most exciting times of this webinar is Tiago is going to present to you a live practice.
Thank you, David. Sounds good. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of that you just showed us. So let me share my screen here and let's get to the fun part. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to create a profile. I'm going to allocate some resources to this profile. I do have some resources available under my account. And then I'm going to create a simple dashboard using the get templates. I'm going to use the simulator to populate it, and I'm going to grant a user access to that particular profile, setting a visibility condition also on my run sidebar. So let's jump right through it. So I'm going to go up top, and I'm going to go to profiles, and I'm going to add a new profile. I'm going to call this profile sandbox. I do have the choice to allocate all my free resources to this profile, but I don't want to allocate all of them. I do want to make sure I'm allocating the correct amount. So by doing that, now I have created an additional profile to my account that, you know, is completely empty. So all the devices that I've created on other accounts, all the analysis, everything else is separate from this. This is entirely new. So I'm going to click here and add its allocation on the right. And now I can see on the left, resource availability. So I can see that I have some data inputs here, some data output and analysis, SMS. So I'm gonna allocate just a little bit to this particular profile here so we can see how that will work. So I'll add 500,000 on data input. I'm gonna add 500,000 on data output. Let's add maybe 500 minutes of analysis, um, maybe a million of data storage, and I'm gonna add ability to add two run users to this particular application. So now I'm gonna hit save, and my resources are distributed. Now I'm gonna go to my TagoIO website, and I'm gonna go to my resources page and see and grab the dashboard template that Dave was sharing with us. First, let's go make sure we have a device that is sending data so we can plug that particular dashboard to. So I'm going to go through my devices page. I'm going to click add device and then simulator. So for this particular one, I'm going to add the bus simulator. I'm going to give the name bus1, and I'm going to select the period of retention of 1 week. So you have the choice to select a particular type of bus, here in this case, and the speed unit. In this case, I'm going to leave in miles per hour, and I'm going to create my device. I'm going to hit continue. Notice that Tago already offers me the ability to get the dashboard straight from here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to type start install template and select the bus 1. I'll confirm associations, and now I have my dashboard created. It'll take a couple minutes to be populated. So meanwhile, I'm going to come here to access, and I'm going to create my access policy to that particular dashboard. So this is going to be the bus telemetry access policy. In my policy, basically will say that every run user with the tag access bus telemetry will be able to view my dashboard and arrange my dashboard with the ID bus telemetry. And I'm going to do the same association for all devices because I want them to see all devices and I want them to see have access to all run user configurations. So I'm going to do any here too, and I'm going to hit create. Now I'm going to select a particular user on my list. In this case, I will select myself, and I'll add one tag here to this particular user, which will be bus telemetry. I'm gonna hit save, and now so I can see it in a way that it looks, nice and jazzier. I'm gonna come here on the sidebar, and I'm gonna add my bus telemetry dashboard. On the action will be to open dashboard. I'll select my dashboard here, bus telemetry. And you notice that I have a little eye here that allows me to set visibility conditions. So because I want this to appear as a button less than a dashboard, I want to click here on the tags, and I want to add the visibility conditions with the tags access bus telemetry. So I'm vectoring my user to this particular dashboard. I'll confirm associations, hit save, and now I'm going to try to log in as this user to check if his access is working properly. So now I can see my bus telemetry dashboard here. It looks like it's already populated. So in a couple of minutes, I was able to add a dashboard, plunge in a sensor. If I already had the sensor in hands sending data, it'll be just a matter of populating the variables on the widgets. Won't take more than 5-10 minutes to do. So it's very fast and it's easy to work with. So the idea is that you can create many applications like this. You can create series of dashboards. You can even, for example, if you have a chain of buses, you could use a blueprint dashboard to monitor each and every one of them. Like you could have maybe 20 buses under one company, 40 under another. You could create sub levels and subcategories to manage them.
Thank you all for joining us. That would be everything for today. Thank you, David. Thank you, Thiago. That's all. Bye, folks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.